Going through a divorce and unsure what will happen to your HDB flat. Can you sell it now, keep it, or will the court force you to let it go? The truth is there are only two paths, and choosing the wrong one could delay everything. Hey, it's Caleb, a property agent in Singapore. I've helped many divorcing couples navigate tricky HDB situations, even when things got ugly. In this video, I'll show you when you can sell, who decides what, and what happens if one party refuses to sign. By the way, this isn't legal advice, just what I've seen from helping clients sell their flats during divorce. So if you're facing divorce, what happens to your HDB right now? So let's go through it. If you were to sell your properties before you file for divorce, it's actually quite a simple process. Basically, you and your spouse have already agreed. You sell the house and then you guys split on a personal basis and you guys decide how much you want to sell and how much you guys want to split. That's when you can sell the property before filing as a married couple. So as a married couple, you can sell whatever you want, and but you, at the end of the day, the money will come to you jointly. It's often used when the parties are cooperative and you don't need a court to decide how much is it. Okay, and your sales proceed will be refunded according to your individual CPF, how much you have used, how much accrued interest also, and the cash proceed will be given to you jointly. So it is not going to be split like 60-40 or 55% here, 45% here, and so on and so forth. So after you get your check, you will split privately among yourself because you guys will need to open a joint account to bank in the check. However, in certain circumstances, you are not able to, then there's two paths you can take. First is a mutual agreement path. Second path is a court order path. So the mutual agreement is between spouses, right? Both parties can agree how much each one should get, how many percentage here, how much percentage there, and so on and so forth. So, or there's also another possibility where you can transfer your one party's interest to the other party also as well. Or you can sell the flat and split the proceeds in an agreed portion. So at the end of the day, if let's say you guys have already agreed how much it is, how many percentage, 58%, 42%, or 60-40 or 70-30, so the court will not interfere on it. However, sometimes you cannot agree on it. That's when we need to go towards the court and let the court decide on it. If there's no agreement, the court handles it if it's a matrimonial asset and how it will be handled. It could be a transfer from one party to another, or it could be a forced sale and division also. So what makes a house matrimonial asset? If it's bought during the marriage, then it's almost certain that it's a matrimonial house. Sometimes if it is bought before the marriage, but it's used as a matrimonial home, it also can be considered a matrimonial property as well. Meaning to say it substantially improved both of your marriage during this period, it will count as a matrimonial marriage as well. So, however, gift, inheritance, they don't include into the matrimonial assets. So how does the court divide the flat or sales proceed? It is not always 50-50. So the court considers many different factors such as financial contributions, non-financial contributions such as raising kids, managing household, how long the marriage has been for, whether any kids, and the needs of the kids as well, and each party's financial future plans as well, and also the agreement that you signed beforehand as well, like the deed of separation or prenuptial agreement and so on and so forth. So case example, husband paid 80% but wife paid only 20%, but court still rule in a different format whereby the husband gets 60-40 because of the wife caregiving roles over the last 18 years. So in cases like this, it might change as well. If this is helping you, give it a like and hit subscribe for more real tips on property in Singapore. So next, let me show you an example of a court order. This is a court order whereby judgment has already been passed. The parties shall have a joint conduct of the sale, and the plaintiff will get 58%, the defendant will get 42%. And if you look at it, parties shall refund the requisite CPF refunds with accrued interest from their own share. So it's kind of like the sale already, then minus away the outstanding loan. Then after that, each one get their own 58% and 42%. And then after that, they refund back to their own CPF. So some cases whereby your CPF may have a shortfall, that's when you have to refund into your own respective CPF accounts at the end of the day. In certain circumstances, if let's say the party fail to sign the documents to sell the property, there is an assistant registrar that can help to sign the property if the other party does not want to sell it because it has been already decided in court. So this is another court order as well, whereby what happens is that this court order, the court gives two different options. First option is that one person keeps the flat, no need to sell. The wife get the full ownership, then husband transfer over the remainder shares to him, but she must pay him an absolute amount of 364,000. And then the husband must return to the CPF and the wife pays for all the fees and stuff like that. However, there is a second possibility within this same court order is that she can consider selling the flat. If a flat transfer doesn't happen in 3 months, they can sell the flat within 9 months. And after paying off all the other fees, 55% to the wife and 45% to the husband. If you look at this in this case, you can see that after repayment of the outstanding mortgage interest and costs and expenses, sales agent fees shall be divided in proportion of 55% and 45%. From their respective sale of proceeds, both parties shall refund to their respective CPF accounts all the money utilized. So you can see that things that is shared like agent fees, interest, cost, expense will all be shared. But whereas for CPF, refund is based on their own share profits as well. Next question, can you keep the HDB flat after divorce? You may keep the flat definitely, but it's only if your ex-spouse agrees to transfer the share to you. So, or the court orders the transfer, but even if such situations allow, like the court allow, you must meet the HDB eligibility criteria like having children and you have care and control of the children, or you are 35 and above and you fall under the single scheme. And you also must be able to take over the home loan. Sometimes you are not able to take over the home loan at all with your own financial situation. You can't hold the property and you have to sell it as well. And if you can't meet this, you are forced to sell the property. Getting value so far? Tap like and subscribe for more no fluff property advice in Singapore. What if you can't retain the flat? So if your flat is still under MOP, likelihood is that HDB will take back the property and compensate you at a lower market value. So usually that's how it works unless you appeal and stuff like that. However, if your MOP is met, you can sell it in the open market. So your sales proceeds will split based on the agreement or the court ruling as well also. When can you start selling the flat? So if it's an uncontested divorce timeline, so you file and then you have an interim judgment of 1 to 2 months, you wait 3 months, you get the final court judgment. So total about 4 to 6 months. So you can start selling only when you receive the final court judgment. Then you can start selling because we need this final court judgment to make sure that all the documents will go through in the HDB process. So if it's in a contested divorce timeline, it's a 3 different process. So you have interim judgment, you have ancillary hearings, and your final court judgment. Total, it takes about 1 to 2 years also. And the property sale may be delayed even further if, let's say, there is disputes. So when can you start selling? Like what I mentioned just now, best time to sell is after your final court judgment, where all the legal instructions on assets division is cleared already. So you save to proceed with listing, marketing, and transaction. So what if one party do not want to sell? So if court orders the sale, both must comply. Because if one refuses to sign, a trustee can be appointed to sell on the behalf. There is one situation I handled before whereby we were trying to help a client to sell the property. Then what happened is that the husband do not want to sell. And then the husband do not want to sign. So whenever we got an offer that meets the wife requirement already, we come to the husband. He totally just missing it in action, totally just run away from us. So there was one time when we went over to the house and then made him to sign the property, explained everything to him. At the dining table, he walked back into his room and closed the door and locked the room. And oh no, we are dead. We can't sign the property. So that case took about 7 months from the time we start marketing to the time we finally sold the property to find a buyer, because we missed out 2 to 3 different buyers. So it's quite sad for us. Buyers see such situation, right? They'll feel very wary about it because they might be afraid that if the whole thing goes through but the sellers still stay in the house, then such situation they want to avoid. Got questions about selling your flat during a divorce or stuck in a tricky situations? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone and I'll do my best to help every one of you. And if you're ready to dive deeper, check out my ultimate guide to selling a HDB, where I cover finances, timeline, CPF, legal fees, and the common traps to avoid. Click here to watch it right now.